Welcome to the Shrewdness. We're doing a two-banger tonight. Two bangs. Because we got Chiz and Dex in the house. We just finished our 30-team MLB preview. If you didn't get a chance to listen to those, go back, check them out. If you got a friend who's a fan of a team, please forward their team episode to them. We'd love that. They listen to it, have some fun. We trash a lot of people. We talk about all the good players. And we make some predictions, most of which will be guaranteed to be wrong, as you'll see as we talk through the season.
For sure. Never should have left us alone this episode, Chiz.
Hey, shouldn't have.
It's going to be all over the place. We're going to have a good time.
We don't have anyone to moderate the crazy. Dex and I are free to roam about how we wish, so we're going to cover a few things. So now, since we're done with our previews, we will be going into previews for NFL. Soon we'll be breaking down all those teams, talking about specifically talking about how to think about them from a guillotine standpoint, because that's our specialty is the guillotine. But in the meantime, we'll have weekly episodes where we're talking about all things sports. And if you want to hang into the end, if you're a Kansas City fan, we'll talk about local stuff, Royals and minor leagues and all that good stuff. But the first part of the site, we'll talk kind of all things sports and whatever the headlines are talking about right now. And we want to start this week off with a little Major League Baseball update. So we are a few weeks into the season now.
And everything's going exactly to script. It's going exactly to script.
This is what we thought would happen.
I mean, the Dodgers are obviously in first place in their division because they started off, 7-0, 8-0?
Yeah.
Of course they're in first place. Oh, wait, they're third in their division.
They're third
the
in the division.
Has decided to be unbelievable. And one of the teams we expected to be very good, if you listen to our preview, San Diego, and they are in first. They're doing great.
14-3.
14-3. And then there's the San Fran land, the San Francisco Giants. And that was for our folks that commented on our TikTok. Apparently, San Fran land is not a thing. I don't know.
Not the way to say it.
West Coast. We're from the Midwest. And in the Midwest,
that's right.
San Fran land.
It's San Fran land.
It rhymes. I don't mean anything by it. If I'm doing a disservice to San Francisco, my apologies.
Just rolls off the tongue. San Fran land.
Off the tongue. But you guys are having the last laugh because you're like, you guys trashed our team. We are 12-5. What's up? You said we can't hit and we can't pitch. You're hitting and pitching. So I was wrong for 2 weeks. We'll see how May looks, San Francisco. I still feel like I'm going to have the last laugh. I still feel like you're going to be in fourth place. But for right now, are you winning and feeling pretty good about yourselves? Yes, you are.
You are.
Today, so depending on when you listen to this, but Willie Adames got his first homer and took that out of the park. So for 2 weeks, your biggest free agent addition, who's supposed to be the middle of your order of power, wasn't even giving you any. And you're still 12-5.
Nope.
So that's
got to be pretty happy.
Yeah, you got to be pretty happy.
The only thing that is correct about the West that we were correct about is Colorado is dog balls.
They
3-13.
Yeah, they are every bit have earned that record. They've earned it every single bit. And then Arizona, they're doing just fine. They're 10-7 and in fourth place. So that's fun. Good start, but that's one division. I think kind of as we troll around the divisions here, another interesting one is the NL East. So I was absolutely positive the Atlanta Braves would be challenging the Dodgers as being one of the best teams in baseball.
Me too,
They haven't got out the gate real well. Let's just, I don't know if I can say any more polite than that. I mean, Austin Riley had a couple dingers, I believe yesterday or maybe today, and they're 5-12 though. 5-12. They had a rough start.
Swept by the West. 0-7.
Yeah. Not real good. So the NL West just went and said, you guys aren't as good as us at all. So the Braves are off to a rough start, but I still believe. Does anyone truly believe they're not going to have a 7-game winning streak sometime this season?
Right.
Really?
They'll get back.
They'll get 500 ball the rest of the time. That puts them at 81. So I don't have any worries whatsoever. I still think Atlanta's going to come up. But what is surprising?
Too much talent on that team.
Yeah, what is surprising is Miami. Miami, who we ridiculed that AA lineup kind of incessantly. We laughed a lot during that episode. And we did say one player's worth starting, Xavier Edwards, and he is. He's doing really well. 317, 405, and a 770 OPS to get going. And I think he's in the leaderboard for stolen bases, which is exactly what we said we would do. But we didn't predict them to be 8-8. I kind of thought they'd already be, I mean, not quite Rockies pace, because we highlighted they are the worst team. It's not really close, but Miami we thought would be closer. But for right now, Sandy Alcantara's winning some games. The offense doesn't look atrocious. It's not bad. It's not bad.
8-8. If you're a Marlins fan, you're giddy right now. You're right in the thick of it. You're only 3 games back of the powerhouse Mets with their Juan Soto signing.
Absolutely.
You got to be pretty pleased with that third pace to start out. Now, we'll see if they can hold. I hope for you guys you do. Keeps it a little competitive. It's always good when your team's in the running at least until the All-Star break, right? As Royals fans, we know what that's like.
So, Rumor Mill Chiz, are you tracking this story? So, one of the proposed good fit trades for both teams is trading Sandy Alcantara, ace of the Marlins, because they're not going to be able to pay him, and he's really good.
No way.
And they're on a team that I know they're 8-8 now, but they won't be. For a team that's in desperate need of pitching because they keep losing people, the New York Yankees. And in exchange, Jason Dominguez would be the prize return in that trade. And I don't know if it's just all talk sauce, but I saw a couple different articles on it. So I'm like, maybe there's a little smoke to this thing. I don't know. So someone's rubbing some sticks together over there. And
that's interesting.
Some seeds.
I mean,
what do you think about that?
The Yankees, hey, it makes all the sense in the world. I mean, Dominguez, they're super high on him. He had a great game tonight against the Royals. We'll talk about it later. But the fact of the matter is they got plenty of bats. They got lots of bats, and they don't have enough pitching. And, you know, if you're going to be serious and you really want to win the whole thing, you're going to have to go up against some lineups, especially when if you make it to the series.
Yeah.
You got to have some pitching because you're going to be going against some pitching. So I like that idea for them.
You give up Dominguez.
You give up Dominguez.
You've waited on for 7 seasons or however many, a lot of seasons.
Time.
And he's finally up. And I don't know. I don't know if I would be. I don't know. I guess that's a pretty good deal because you still have some time with Alcantara.
Yeah.
And so you give up Dominguez, but you have another guy we talked about, Spencer Jones. Yankees have another outfield prospect that they like a lot as well. So I don't know really what you'd be missing. And you get another ace. And then next season, you'd have Garrett Cole, Max Fried, Sandy Alcantara would be your freaking third. Come on now. Carlos Rodon is like your fifth. I don't even know. That's a disgusting rotation.
They would look pretty formidable pretty quick. It makes a lot of sense, but the question is, this is where emotion gets into play, right? When you're that vested in a guy, like they are in Dominguez, when you're that vested in a guy and you've waited for as long, and everyone's talking about how great he is for so long, he's got all this promise, and he's fulfilling the promise right now. He said, well, can you pull the trigger even though you know you need it? I mean, if they don't do that, they got to go somewhere.
I know they got to get somebody, and they could probably wait a little bit, but if you're going to do that deal, why wait? You might as well get more starts in Yankee Stadium. So, because they always say you can't win a season, but you can lose a season early, right?
Yeah,
and
that's right.
I mean, I say all that. They're 10-7. They're leading their division, but last place is 6-10. It's not like they're running away with it. It's 3.5 games from first to fifth.
And Baltimore's in last, and you know they're not going to stay 6-10.
That's exactly right.
They got too much talent too.
Oh, anyway, I just want to drop that little nugget, kind of see your thoughts if you heard that one, but I kind of like it.
Absolutely,
I kind of like it in there.
It makes a lot of sense, so it probably won't happen.
Yeah, I know.
But they definitely will be looking for somebody, and you're going to start pretty quickly looking at these bottom feeders. Unfortunately for them right now, the bottom feeders are people who shouldn't be bottom feeders, like Atlanta. Atlanta's not trading anybody.
No.
Pittsburgh's not trading their golden boy.
No.
Colorado,
they don't have anyone to trade.
You don't want anybody on that team.
Yeah.
So, the bottom feeders.
So when we highlighted their top prospects, Chase Dollander, he's already up. So he came up already.
Didn't take long, did it?
No, it's kind of exactly what we thought. Like, hey, we guess we do need pitching. And so he's going to get a long run. So, I mean, lo and behold, a 3-13 team called up their number one prospect in the first week of the season.
Imagine that. Yeah. They're not worried about service time. They're like, let's get this baby up here.
Exactly.
So that's a real interesting one. The NL Central is kind of bunched together, except for the Pirates. They're falling off the pace already, which isn't a surprise. They don't have any bats.
Yeah, it's kind of what we predicted for that one, too. I mean, the teams.
I will shout out to my friend Cincinnati. Red's hanging tough in second place right now, 9-8. Hunter Green looks like a Cy
Yes,
Young
he
the way he's
does.
pitching for sure. He had an incredible outing the other night.
He's had multiple incredible outings.
He's legit, and if they fall off, look at that name to be swapped.
I can't. No way. I think he's a
Can't do it.
He's a benchmark because he's so young. I mean, he's the one you would build around. You would trade to get him.
He is. That's true. That's true.
You don't want to keep.
But he's
rebuilding.
Gonna have a high value for sure.
It is, and they've got some more talent coming up. Like I said, when we talked about them in our preview, they've got some people. They've got some people. They're not too bad.
Depends on their horizon. Depends on what they're thinking about for a horizon, right?
So, well, this is a winnable division. The NL Central.
It totally is.
When we were talking about the teams, they kind of all had a shot. Milwaukee, Cubs. We're saying if everything goes right for St. Louis, they would have a shot.
And they're only 8-9 now. It's not like they're out of it. So
exactly.
They've all got a shot, except for Pittsburgh. But everybody else has a shot in that division. And then you look at the AL, like you mentioned, Yankees, but that whole division is playing well.
Yep, they're all kind of stacked
Baltimore,
together.
Which is weird, but they'll come out of their slump. You go to the West, it's total jumble.
It's
3 games
surprise,
separate
though.
First from last.
I didn't think the Angels, we talked about them and their lack of depth everywhere. And we also talked about Mike Trout being back and how a difference he makes. This is what a healthy Trout looks like. This is what
Absolutely.
Like. This is what 8 WAR looks like. And we're seeing it.
Drastically changes things. Even the Athletics are 7-10, only 3 out, so they're out of it. Then you get to our beloved Central.
That's last place. That's last place. So that's a 2.5 games separating 1 through 5.
You get to our beloved AL Central, and it's not good. The leader is Detroit at 10-7, Cleveland 9-7, Kansas City 8-10, Minnesota 5-12, and the White Sox 4-12.
How on earth is Minnesota only a half game up on this crappy, terrible, nearly record-settingly bad White Sox?
Makes no sense.
And now they lost Pablo Lopez on the IL with a hamstring.
It's the Minnesota virus, man. The Minnesota virus. It's like whatever happens when baseball season starts, there's this injury bug that just infests the clubhouse. And it's like they can't dodge it. It just passes from star player to star player. And like you look talent wise, they should definitely be back. They should be much better than 5-12.
Yeah.
They haven't hit at all.
No.
That really has really hurt them. The whole division really hasn't hit outside of Detroit.
Yeah.
So, the division's still up for grabs, and I think it will be for quite a while. I don't think Detroit's going to run away with it. They may surprise me. I don't think they're going to run away with it. So I think it's going to be a competitive division. Minnesota, obviously, it's a bad start, but they'll win some games. They'll string some together, and they'll make it run too. And Cleveland is showing that even though they lost a lot, they're going to be feisty.
They're always feisty. Cleveland, that is the best description of them every stupid year, is feisty.
Every year. They always find a way. If you look at some of the stats, so we got some fantasy folks out there, right? You look at fantasy, what's going on. Okay, well, not surprisingly, the Judge is freaking killing the ball.
Yes.
His
only
on base plus slugging is only 12-12 to start the year. He's got 6 dongs already. He's hitting. What is he hitting right now?
He's tied with Tommy Edman. He's doing pretty good.
Yeah, I mean,
Tommy Edman, crazy.
You don't mind a guy hitting 367 with 12-12 on base plus slugging. It's okay, I guess.
It'll play, I guess.
And also, Goldschmidt's looking pretty comfortable in New York, too, hitting 367 as well. And Jazz Chisholm has 6 home runs. So what? Jazz Chisholm has 6 home runs. Aaron Judge has 6 home runs. The Yankees have more home runs than 2 people than most entire starting lineups do.
They do. And that one day when they had 9 and kind of set a Yankees franchise record for home runs in a game, that helped.
It does.
I mean, Milwaukee, I believe, was the poor recipients of
the victim of that day.
That's
another surprise.
Torpedo bats took off that day.
Oh, my gosh. Another surprise is a man I believe I mocked, helping to lead the San Francisco Giants, Wilmer Flores. Flores. 6 home runs and 20 RBIs. 20 RBIs from, I think that's like a season for some seasons of Wilmer Flores. He's got 6 home runs and 20 RBIs. That's crazy town. He is popping off.
It was an oxymoron to call him a designated hitter And then he's just saying, shut up, Shrewdness. Stick to what you know, which is nothing. Just babble in your little screens and leave me alone while I go beat on this ball like it's my job. And
I mean, the dude is absolutely killing the ball. Let me put this in perspective. So in 71 games last year, Wilmer had 4 home runs. In 71 games last year, he had 26 RBIs.
Yeah.
So he's got 6 home runs and 20 RBIs.
Yeah, he can take the rest of the season off. It's unreal.
He's already paid off. Whatever they're paying him, he's already paid it off.
It is.
We've also got some interesting stuff going on when we look at stolen bases. O'Neal Cruz already has 8.
Yep.
For Pittsburgh. I mean, 8 stolen bases this early. That's a pace right there.
Won every other game. He's on pace for 80.
Yeah. That's a huge. And another guy who's got O'Neal Cruz could definitely do it. And I'm kind of surprised on that list too is which is a tribute to San Diego's Fernando Tatis. He's got 6 stolen bases already. Fernando Tatis, 6 home runs and 6 stolen bases.
He's batting 365 with a 431 on base, and he's got a nice 1098 OPS. And he was, if you remember, kind of my one of my early picks for MVP was Fernando Tatis. And
yes, that's right.
I've got my money on him. I'm letting it ride all season. So if he went with me, at least the first couple of weeks looked pretty good.
It looked great.
The whole thing, he has to stay vertical the whole season.
That's the challenge with him, right? Another interesting one. We talked a lot about the talent Corbin Carroll has and how he just fell off a cliff last year. Well, he's 1126 OPS right now, so he seems to have returned to form, and hopefully he can hold it because he's a lot of fun to watch. And I think that guy has got some really bright future ahead of him. We haven't mentioned Shohei yet, and which is to go this far into an episode of anything talking about baseball and not mention Shohei. It's not like he started poorly. He's hitting 296. He's got 5 home runs and 4 stolen bases. Oddly, those 5 home runs only come with 6 RBIs, though. So he's doing a lot of solo damage, not a lot with people on base.
Well, he's leading off the game. I think he led off 3 games with a homer. So that always helps. Maybe it's just 2 games, but I thought for sure a couple of them.
It's a decent way to start.
Yeah. And then Mookie Betts, he's just hitting just game clinchers and game winners and walk-offs and go-ahead homers. So Mookie Betts has 4 homers, but they all seem to have been at critically important times. Every single one. Yeah. So he's been awesome.
It says something to do with the guys like that who get MVPs. They tend to figure out a way to
always
do that
make it
kind
matter,
of clutch
right?
stuff.
They always make it matter. And then a soft spot for us is the polar bear. So Pete Alonso, that we kind of like, and we're like glad that the Mets signed him up again. Well, I think the Mets are really glad they did too. He's batting 356, and he's got 5 homers, 20 RBIs to start this season off. And the thing is with him, he has 11 walks to 10 Ks. That's new. So if he does that all season,
that is not if he keeps that up, he's going to be a terror for people.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the pitching, we mentioned Hunter Green. He's leading the majors in WHIP, .58 to start out.
He had a 2-hitter the other night. 7 innings, 2 hits.
.58 out of a starter. Not to be too far behind, though. Spencer Schwellenbach, Mr. Long Name. He has got a .45 ERA and a .65 WHIP right now. So he is on a team that is floundering. I don't know how when you got a guy like that. He's really coming out red hot. The only bright spot, or one of the few bright spots for the Royals, we won't talk about it too much, but they do have the major league leader in strikeouts. Cole Reagans has 34, and he has started his season with 3 straight games of double-digit strikeouts.
Absolutely.
He's an ace, folks. He's an ace, and he's really difficult to hit. He's actually going a little deeper into games this year than he did last year. So that's something to watch for sure. And then if you're in the saves market, if you didn't have Robert Suarez on your radar already, he's already racked up 7 saves.
He was so bad in spring training. Like they were questioning whether
he
would
be
the closer. I mean, I was picking up Estrada in leagues. I'm like, well, this won't last long. And Estrada's a beast, and it has actually been awesome. It's just like, well, so is this guy. Suarez said, I guess the season started. I'll start throwing strikes and striking people out. I was wrong. He's looked great to start the season. To my buddy Tim Sylvester, I hope you're listening. I was wrong. You were right about Suarez.
You were right.
You're
You're
big,
smart.
I'm
I'm
small.
stupid.
So you're right. So we have a joint fantasy team, and he was wanting Suarez. Like, Suarez is so bad. He's terrible. He's very good. He's not even be the closer by the end of April. And then he promptly comes out and gets 7
I think he
saves in
might.
2 weeks.
I think he might.
So
He
I
might
missed
hang
on
on to
that
that
one.
spot for a while.
Yep. And what I want to talk about,
He might be somebody to keep.
I want to talk about one other bright spot. Tyler Soderstrom for the Athletics. He is your home run leader right
That's
now with
right.
8. And it's looking like Sacramento. They're not the Sacramento A's, though. They're just the Athletics. That looks like that park might have some jump to it, as is Tampa Bay
Yeah.
playing at Steinbrenner Field. I think they've got more home runs than
Yeah.
anyone in that ballpark down in Tampa. Beware,
Yeah.
if you're
Yeah.
streaming options, you want to stream some hitters, and you may want to look at the pitchers. I don't know if you want to really start them there, but just take a look.
Yeah.
Just throwing out the Warno. If you're good with it, I'm good with it.
Great point, Dex. You know, we didn't know what the ballpark effects are going to be like at a Steinbrenner Field, obviously. So we're kind of learning on these new ballparks what they look like, and that looks like one you might want to avoid starting guys in.
Launching pad.
Pitchers.
Yeah.
If you got hitters going that way, or you need somebody to plug a hole for a game or two, and they got a series down at George Steinbrenner Field,
Yep.
might not be a bad option.
Yep.
So it's been a fun start to the season. Nobody's out of it except the Rockies, and everybody else has still got a puncher's chance. That's kind of fun when it starts that way. It's going to be a blast to watch the NL West all year because it is just stacked. And a lot of the things that we said, predictions, some of them have worked, some of them are trash. We'll see week to week how that looks, but it's going to be a fun season, and hopefully you're enjoying it and getting some fun with the fantasy side of it as well.
Yeah, and if you listen to the previews, it's been way more fun. So we've never gone this in depth on baseball. I mean, for fantasy baseball drafts I've never really gone player by player through an entire team for all 30 teams. It's really made watching baseball way more fun. We know all the people coming in, and we definitely know the ones that we trashed, and they come up and hit a dinger, and we're like, well. Then the ones we thought would be really good, and they're coming out like Rafael Devers. He came out, I think he struck out 16 of the first 19 at bats or something. It was something atrocious.
Yeah,
I might be off a couple, but not many. He set a Major League Baseball record, historically bad. But then he promptly came on. I think he's batting, I don't know, he went on to bat 300 or 400 for a week. And now he's all good. All's right in the world again with Rafael Devers. But
that's
funny how this stuff works.
Yes, absolutely. It's a long season. It usually all comes around, but you always have some anomalies. You always have some guys that surprise you, and some guys that have like way underperform that we think are going to be solid. So it's going to be fun to track it. But first part of the baseball season is always a blast. Hopefully you're enjoying it as much as we are. And hey, if you got some extra time, you're in the car, plop on one of those previews, listen to what we talked about. You can laugh at how wrong we were 3 weeks into the season about some of these teams, and enjoy it. And hopefully you have as much fun listening as we do recording it.
Yeah, and if you're going to a game too, this has been a fun one. So I sent it to a buddy. They're going to go watch a home opener, I think Seattle, and the team they're playing, they're like, I don't know anything about them. It's like, turn it on, check it out. We got all the teams covered. So they did, and they had a pretty good time. They knew all the players, and the kid loved it. So they listened to it. It's family friendly, as you know.
Absolutely.
So feel free to pop it on, because we want our kids to be able to listen to. So keep it easy.
For sure.
All right, transition.
For sure. All right, so next we want to talk a little bit about we don't talk a lot about golf, but majors are majors, and this one had a really intriguing storyline, so we thought we'd spend a little bit of time on it. So if any of you spent your Sunday watching any of the Masters, it was well spent. I'm not a guy who grew up watching a ton of golf. I started playing with Dex actually in high school. Dex actually invited me out one time with some guys because I think he wanted to laugh at me because I'd never played before. And I hit like one shot. Yes, it was with Prue. I hit one good shot. Most of mine were just on the ground. I didn't even get in the air, but I hit one good shot in the air on the green. And I was like, ooh, this is kind of fun. So I've never gotten good, but I could get around a golf course. And when I watch, I can appreciate how incredibly difficult it is what they're doing. And also, you kind of get to know some of the personalities over time. Everybody got sucked in back when we were growing up with the Tiger phenomenon, who was like, we'll never in our lifetime see another Tiger. But this had some intrigue to it going into the fourth day because of one Rory McIlroy. So Rory McIlroy is a guy who's kind of polarizing, but a lot of people love him. When he first came onto the scene when he was young, he was like super excitable. He was into it. He was like running up the fairways when he hit good shots. Everyone was like, "Oh, this guy is cool. I like watching him." He had some emotion to him. And Rory had an interesting story. He's 35. He had won 3 of the 4 majors, but he'd never won the Masters. And Rory kind of had started to develop a little bit of a reputation as choking down the stretch, particularly with the flat stick. Has a little trouble with the putting and the tight putts. And so going into the day, he was going to the final round. He was tied, and everyone thought it was just going to be kind of a 2-horse race. And Rory started off the day. And I want to talk a little bit about Rory's scorecard, because it ended up being a 2-horse race, but it wasn't the 2 horses that we thought.
Paired with DeChambeau, right? With Bryce.
He was paired with DeChambeau, and DeChambeau just had a horrible last round. He had a good tournament, and he just didn't play well at all on Sunday. But there were a couple guys that did. Justin Rose, who was not thought to be in the running, just went off on Sunday and played an incredible final round.
Yeah, he shot like a 67, right?
Yeah. It was the best round of his Masters, and he saved it for last, which was awesome. Rory proceeded to start his round in the fourth. So let me give you a little context. Rory coming in he had shot 72 on the first day. Not great, right? Par. 66 on the second day. He was red hot. That's where he kind of made ground. Shot 66 on the third day too. So he's 12 down starting the final round. And he starts the day with a double right out of the gate. Doubles on the first hole, and it was like, boy, here we go
again.
We got Rory. He proceeds to finish the first 9 with 3 birdies, so he ends up down 1. But his back 9, let me just read you his back 9. It was the roller coaster of all roller coasters. And if you were watching it like me, holy cow, your heart was in your throat every time you hit the ball. So he went birdie, bogey, par, double, bogey, birdie, par, birdie, bogey. So to have that much up and down was insane. And there were multiple times when you're like, he's going to lose it. He's losing it here. And he'd come back and he'd birdie. You're like, okay, he's back on the horse. And then on 17, he hit a shot that is one of the best shots I've ever seen. And if you haven't seen it, please go check it out. He hit a shot that was ridiculous. And he hit it to get within a birdie shot on 17. And he got a birdie, and I thought it was done. I thought he had it. All he had to do really going into the 18th was par. And on his approach shot, he gets out his wedge, which had kind of betrayed him a couple times that day, and he hit it in the sand. And I was like, my gosh, he's going to make this tough. But it wasn't a crazy sand shot. It wasn't like he can't get this out. And he did. He got it out, but he got it, within a few feet. And you're like, okay, he's going to putt for the win here. And everybody's on edge. Everybody's so excited. They're like, ready for him to putt. And he putts, and everyone stands up and yells. And he pushes it right. And he misses.
Brutal.
And we're going to a playoff. And honestly, at that point, I looked at my son and I was like, he's done. Like, when you miss the putt to win on 18 and you got to go to a playoff against Rose, who was on fire, I was like, he's in his head at this point. Rory's kind of got a history. But I got to give the dude props because they played 18 again. This time on the approach shot, Rose almost hit the pin on the approach, but his rolled, didn't check up, so he had a bit of a long putt. And Rory hits, and when he hits past the stick, pulls it back, and I mean, talk about a wonderful shot. He pulls it back to where he has a legit chance at a birdie, and then delivers on the birdie to win the whole thing. It was pretty miraculous. I get chill bumps talking about it. The folks at the Masters were going nuts. Really cool to see him. And you saw the relief on his face. Dude went down to his knees. He was visibly emotional, which is what you want. Golf, my biggest knock on golf is
lack of emotion.
Dudes all try to be like straight faced and like, tip the cap and thank you. Like, come on, dude. you just won the Masters, and you actually got the I just won the Masters. The monkey's off his back. He had the look on his face that all of us would have had at that point. Like, I cannot believe this is happening. And it was just a cool, if you're a sports fan and you know anything about golf, it was awesome. It's one of those rare Masters you will remember because of how it finished and the storyline that was with it. So really cool. And Justin Rose, class act, doesn't have the personality. The problem with Justin Rose is he doesn't have the personality. So he didn't really have a lot of people rooting for him. He's a great golfer, but he and Rory are really close. So it was kind of cool to see afterwards. He was congratulating him. You could tell he knew how much it meant to him.
I feel like that's a
really cool thing.
Close-knit fraternity. And then he's in the green jacket fraternity, which is even smaller. That's pretty cool.
Right?
So that was exciting to see. I just saw the highlights. Yeah, we had some baseball and soccer tournaments going on that day, so I missed watching it, but saw the highlights at the end of the day, and I saw the score updates. So I'm like, oh no. And then I saw your text, and just like, here it comes. He's blowing it. Yep. He's choking. And I was like, oh no. Then I get back and I see Rory McIlroy is putting on a green jacket. I'm like, he must have pulled it off. That's pretty exciting though.
Great drama. It also made me go back and look at some of the old Masters, and I was talking about Tiger earlier. One thing that's kind of cool, and for those of you who weren't around when Tiger was in his prime, to give you an idea of how good Tiger Woods was, I was looking at his best stretch of play. So number one, he was like, first off, he was like number one in the world for like 7 years in a row. Something insane. Like
he skipped a few tournaments and was still number one.
Yeah. He's like, I don't need the points. I don't need the points from that tournament. I'm just kidding. But the most insane stat that I saw, during his run, he had a stretch of 110 holes without a bogey.
What? That's insane.
Holes.
I didn't think that's even possible.
Bogey.
Even for pros, because that's just like, you don't ever miss the putt? You never missed a putt? I don't know.
You never shake the chip? Never, like, come on.
So that's why, I mean, for us too, I mean, Tiger Woods golf, even the video game was great. He was the Michael Jordan of golf. Almost everybody started playing golf. If you never played golf, you watched Tiger Woods play. And then after his Tiger Slam, but he was so unbelievable. He was winning by like 10 strokes. Like, it wasn't even against the best in the world. It's like lapping somebody in the Olympics and a half mile. Like, no, it's just unbelievable. The odds,
it's ridiculous.
The odds were like minus 700 for him to win a tournament. It was unbelievable during that stretch.
Yeah, you just knew. And it was kind of like the mental game was like a little bit like Tyson was in his prime.
Absolutely.
He would win Sunday before he teed off because people would see him wearing his red shirt and it was like, game over, and they knew we're playing for second. It's like, we don't got a chance. Let's try for second. So we won't have that dominance a while, but it was kind of cool to see a guy like Rory McIlroy, fan favorite, guy who didn't jump to the LIV tour when all that craziness was going on and kind of stuck with PGA. Yeah. So he's got a lot of goodwill as a result. Win that. So fun story for sure.
That is.
So that's our little golf tournament, little golf coverage.
We're touching it all. We're touching it all. So I want to talk a little bit, and it's not even much. So we're going to talk about only the couple teams we care about. So NHL Playoff.
Yeah.
It looks like the Blues have clinched their way in. So that'll be fun. We have a team to root for. And then obviously I'm going to be rooting a little bit for Minnesota as well.
Yep.
And we'll see what happens. I hope they don't meet right away. I don't think they will, which is good because they're both lower seeds. I'm tracking in the bottom half. So they both have to knock off some upsets for that to happen.
That's right.
I'll deal with that problem when it becomes a problem. So I got two teams to root for in the NHL. Looking forward to that as we get going into the NHL playoff season, which is a lot of fun to watch. I mean, not
it is a lot.
First round, but it gets better.
No, but I gotta say, like, if you're a sports fan and you haven't watched the NHL, which there's a lot of them out there, I get it. It took me a long. Well, I didn't start watching the NHL till college, but if you're a sports fan and you like drama, it's pretty tough to beat the Stanley Cup playoffs.
It is.
The guys are all out, and hockey players, they have no regard for their body whatsoever. They're like, they dive in front of pucks in the playoffs. They play with broken whatevers.
They don't have any
they don't care. No, they don't care. They're all out. So Minnesota is clinched. Calgary's eliminated. So now we have our final. So St. Louis is going to play Winnipeg, who is the best team in the NHL by a long shot. So that will be interesting. If they pull that off, it will be an all-time upset. And then Minnesota is going to play Vegas the first round. So we'll talk a little more hockey playoffs when we get closer.
Absolutely.
Also, we'll also talk a little about NBA. We're not NBA super fans by any means. Matter of fact, there's a lot about the NBA I don't like, but we'll cover it for you guys from a goofball's perspective. And let me just say this before I even talk about the NBA playoffs. Right now, this is one thing I hate. I'll just tell you right now, NBA fans, if you're listening to this, tonight is the play-in games.
Yeah.
The play-in tournaments. Okay.
So weird.
This is horse crap. Okay. You play a bajillion games in the season. All right. Like a bajillion. Like 82. Something like 80, 82, 84. I can't remember what it is. It's way too many games. There's 15 teams in a division. 10 teams make the playoffs? Come on.
So dumb.
Take the top 8. You don't need 7 to play 10 and 8 to play 9. Come on. We've played 80. This is stupid. This is ridiculous. Like, you got a Miami team that's 37 and 45 playing Orlando at 41 and 41. 41 and 41 shouldn't even be in the playoffs, honestly. No. But, okay, I'll give you 41 and 41. But
why?
A playing game?
Why?
This is ridiculous.
Like, you had all season to be the top 8. If you didn't do it, you didn't make the playoffs. I don't know. Exactly. It seems pretty easy. You either made it or you don't. But neither here nor there.
The only team that I have any kind of allegiance to was, and not much, is Dallas. Dallas is in a play-in game tomorrow night. They're the last number 10 team at 39 and 43.
Yeah, and with no Eyebrow and no Kyrie and no Luka now, that's a fun team to watch.
This is going to be a blast. By the way, here's a little NBA news. Today, Nico Harrison came out for the first time since the trade and made a statement to the press in which he said he has no regrets for trading Luka Doncic.
I'm sure that's well received.
No regrets? No regrets? Really? After Luka came to your house and dropped 45 on you?
Yeah, I'm sleeping just fine. Like, I guess when I pass out from alcohol, I am too.
Okay, Nico, you stick with that. I guess you kind of got to after you make a trade like that.
So I've only got one team.
We'll cover a little bit of NBA.
Yep, so I watch one team, and only, truth be told, I only watch them in their playoffs because I just don't really like watching the NBA. It's not a very fun game to me. I like college basketball way more, and high school actually more than that. But that being said, the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to play the Los Angeles Lakers. And so speaking of Luka and LeBron to be, so that's going to be the series. I think they can win, though. I think Ant-Man has enough to do it, and I think he can make this a great series. And the thing is, Luka's awesome, gotcha, but pretty sure Ant beat him last year. Was that right about that?
If you look at the standings in the West too, it was Minnesota and the Lakers were one game apart between 3 and 6. So that's how bunched everybody was.
Crazy.
So really, it's a toss-up in that 3-6 and 4-5 series are total toss-ups. The team who everyone's like, hey, it's theirs to lose is Oklahoma City.
That's right.
Oklahoma City was 68 and 14 this year. That is like
crazy.
That's some Chicago Bulls back in the day type.
Yeah, I mean, they had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander leading the pack, and many people think he should get the MVP. He's phenomenal. He's just so good watching him play.
Yes.
I think they should give him the MVP, to be dead honest. I mean, Jokic is awesome. Can't go wrong with that, really. But for a guy MVP, 68 and 14, you'd have to tell me why he can't get it. I don't know.
I mean, he also played 76 games. He didn't do a lot of load management, which I like.
Exactly.
I like the fact that he actually likes to play basketball since he's getting paid to do it.
Yeah.
And when you're in Oklahoma City, it's not like you got a ton of people that are pulling for Oklahoma City. The NBA was not like, let's help out Oklahoma City. We want them to be the 1 seed. That's certainly not what they were rooting for. To get 32 points a game in Oklahoma City when you're out of the spotlight, where no one's paying attention, I would love to see him get the MVP.
I would too. So we'll see what happens with that as we get going forward. We are excited about next week. So next week, NFL fans, draft day. So we got the draft coming, and we are pumped to talk about it. So next week's we'll kind of get a little more of a preview of what's going on. And obviously, you guys can do your Google research and find the same stuff. We're going to highlight who we like and who we think would be good fits for some teams. More than just like, here's a mock draft, and we'll do the Mel Kiper mock draft. We don't really care about that. Because, for one, it never goes like that. It never goes chalk. There'll probably be like 8 trades, and then the whole thing's up. We're going to talk about some of the players we like and try and see where they go. It will be fun to see X player on this team. So we'll see what happens. It'll be fun, but we'll talk about that next week. Just wanted to highlight that's what's coming. They did have the WNBA draft last night, and
they did.
It's just one of those things. And since Lou's not here to tell us we can't talk about it, it's
Right? We're talking about
newsworthy.
it.
It's interesting. So
Yeah.
Paige Beckers,
Yeah.
no surprise, went
Yep.
number 1, and
Yep.
she's going to be a freak. She'll probably win Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
And I'm looking forward to kind of seeing how she does, because the game is actually
She's really good.
interesting. When really, really good players go in, the game's
That's right.
interesting. And with Caitlin
That's
Clark
right.
from last year and now Paige Beckers this year, the game
Yep.
is getting so much talent. It's an enjoyable game to watch. And
Yes,
the number 2
for
pick,
sure.
so Chiz, is what a lot of people are like, well, yeah, they can't dunk. Well, the number 2 pick in the draft is like this 6'7" chick from France. Apparently fast break dunks all the time. And I watched highlights. It's a true story. She can dunk.
She can actually dunk, which will be really interesting. So yeah, it is something that is gaining traction, and they are getting better, and it does help their game when they have some players that
personalities. They're good.
And she's definitely one.
Yep.
They're getting more of that for sure. So we'll see if they can build on it. See if the WNBA can capitalize on some of this new talent that's coming in and translate it to dollars.
If this doesn't work with the players they've got the last couple of years, it will never go anywhere then. Because these are very true. Transcendent players. I mean, the fact that everybody knows who Caitlin Clark is. Before last year, it would have been a struggle for me to name a WNBA player. Now,
for sure.
Joke, whatever. It's not being sexist or anything. It's just facts. It wasn't a very entertaining game. But when you get someone that's like all the talk all the way through March in that season, and then her Indiana Fever games were like on all the time. ESPN was broadcasting them. So I was like, well, it's on. I'll watch it. And so it became pretty interesting. So I think this addition of Paige Beckers, who's probably just as good, truth be told. That's a good talent influx. I think it'll be kind of interesting. So we'll see what happens. All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for this week's Shrewdness. Thank you very much again for support. Like, follow, subscribe on the socials, and tell your friends. Send it out.
Absolutely.
We love it. So until next week, stay shrewd.
Stay shrewd.